Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. Why is it that some men, not tall, not rich, not especially good looking, somehow always end up with women you secretly believe are out of their league? You've seen it. You might even know one personally. And if you're honest, a part of you thinks, how did he pull her? Now here's the painful part most men never say out loud. Many men don't lose in dating because women reject them. They lose because they disqualify themselves before a woman ever gets the chance to feel anything. They look at their height, their face, their bank account, and they conclude, I already lost. But if those things truly decided attraction, those mismatched couples wouldn't exist. And yet, they're everywhere. So the real question becomes, if looks, money, and status aren't the final decision makers, what actually controls female attraction? The answer is not what most men expect. The core misunderstanding. Men assume women experience attraction the same way men do. Visually, instantly, logically. Men see, men want. So men try to become something to look at. Better clothes, better body, better photos. And while those things help at the surface level, they do not create lasting attraction. Because women don't choose with their eyes. They choose with something much deeper. Pillar 1. Women don't choose with their eyes. They choose with their nervous system. This is where most men get it wrong. A woman doesn't ask herself, is he attractive enough? She asks unconsciously, how do I feel around him? Her nervous system is constantly scanning. Do I feel calm or tense? Safe or pressured? Grounded or rushed? Seen or evaluated? Attraction begins there. Let me tell you a story. A man walks into a room. He's middle-aged, average height, nothing visually remarkable. He doesn't speak loudly. He doesn't scan the room for validation. He doesn't perform. But something changes when he enters. The energy slows down. Conversations suddenly orient toward him. Not because he demands attention, but because he doesn't need it. Women notice him without knowing why. Now compare that to a man who looks impressive, but feels anxious, eager, restless. He talks more, explains more, tries harder, and yet he creates tension. Here's the key insight. 2 men can say the same words. Only one makes her feel something. And feeling is the gateway to attraction. Not logic, not checklists, not preferences. Feeling. Pause for a second and reflect. Have you ever met someone who didn't look impressive, but felt magnetic? That wasn't an accident. Pillar 2, she doesn't fall for your face, she falls for the feeling. Now let's go even deeper. Physical appearance is not meaningless. But it is not the engine. It's the filter, not the decision. Think of it like this. Looks may open the door, but emotion decides whether she stays in the room. Most men try to fill silence. They rush conversation, they over-explain, they fear pauses. But emotional attraction often lives inside those pauses. Imagine a man who speaks less, but when he does, it lands. He doesn't rush to impress. He doesn't chase reactions. He lets moments breathe. He is comfortable with silence. That comfort transmits something powerful, stability. Self-trust, presence, and presence is rare. Women don't remember everything you say. They remember how their body felt around you. Calm, curious, awake. That's why after a date, a woman might say, I don't know what it is about him. She can't explain it because it didn't happen in her rational mind. It happened in her nervous system. Here's the truth most men need to hear. She will forget your jokes. She will forget your stories. She will forget your compliments. But she will remember the state you put her in. Let me ask you something important. When you're around a woman, are you trying to be impressive? Or are you grounded enough to let her feel you? This is just the foundation. In part 2, we're going to talk about why your perceived flaws often become attractive after emotional activation, how women say one thing, but their behavior tells a completely different story, and why believing preferences is one of the biggest traps men fall into. Before we continue, take a moment. Does this already challenge something you believed about attraction? If yes, that's a good sign. If you understood part 1, something important should already be shifting in your mind. Because once you realize attraction lives in feeling, not appearance, a lot of old insecurities start to lose their power. Now we're going to go deeper into the part most men misunderstand completely. This is where attraction rewrites reality. Pillar 3. Your flaws disappear after emotional activation. This is one of the most counterintuitive truths in female psychology. Men believe attraction works like this. First, she evaluates how you look. Then she decides how she feels. But for women, it often works in reverse. First, she feels something. Then her perception adjusts to match that feeling. This is called emotional reframing. And it's why things you once hated about yourself can suddenly become attractive once emotion is activated. I've seen this happen countless times. A man insecure about his voice, too deep, too soft, too unusual. At first, he assumes it's a disadvantage. But after emotional connection forms, she starts saying things like, "I love your voice. It's comforting. It feels safe." The same trait, different meaning. Another man worries about his height. He's convinced it disqualifies him. But after attraction is established, she says, "I like how grounded you feel. You make me feel protected." Notice what happened? The physical trait didn't change. The emotional frame around it did. Here's the pattern you need to understand. Before attraction, she analyzes. After attraction, she interprets. Emotion doesn't ignore flaws. It redefines them. That's why chasing perfection never works. Perfection is forgettable. Presence is not. Let me ask you something honestly. What part of yourself are you trying to fix that might only need emotional activation instead? Pillar 4. Preferences are fantasies. Behavior is truth. This pillar alone would save most men years of confusion. Women are very good at describing what they think they want. Tall, confident, successful, emotionally intelligent, specific height, specific look. And men take these preferences as law. They hear them, internalize them, and then judge themselves against them. But preferences are not decisions, they are fantasies. Attraction is decided by behavior. Let me give you a simple example. A woman says, "I only date men over 6 feet." A few months later, she's emotionally invested in a man who's clearly shorter. What happened? She didn't lie. She just met someone who made her feel something stronger than her preference. Here's the rule. When words and behavior conflict, behavior always tells the truth. Women may say one thing, but they move toward what activates them emotionally. This is why trying to match preferences is a losing game. There will always be someone taller, richer, more impressive on paper, but emotional impact is not competitive. It's experiential. Ask yourself this. Are you trying to qualify for a fantasy or create a real emotional experience? Because only one of those leads to attraction. Pillar 5, the emotional triggers that actually create desire. Now let's get practical. If attraction is emotional, what emotions matter? There are 5 core triggers that consistently activate female attraction. Not tricks, not tactics, but states. 1. Rhythm. This is your pacing. How you speak, how you listen, how you move conversations forward without rushing. Men who rush feel anxious. Men who control rhythm feel grounded. When you slow down, others follow. 2. Polarity. This is your frame. You don't bend to be liked. You don't over-adjust. You don't erase yourself to keep harmony. You remain you, calmly. Polarity requires friction, and friction creates charge. Composure. This is how you respond to pressure. Silence. Tests. Emotional swings. The man who stays calm under emotional heat becomes the emotional anchor. Women are drawn to that stability instinctively. Number 4, self-validation. You don't need approval to feel enough. Compliments don't inflate you. Criticism doesn't collapse you. You already decided your worth. That internal certainty is magnetic. 5, masculine humor. Not jokes to impress, but observational humor. Detached humor. The ability to see irony without seeking validation. It signals intelligence and emotional freedom. Here's the pattern across all 5. The moment you stop trying to be impressive, she starts reacting. Because now you're no longer performing. You're present, and presence is what her nervous system responds to. Take a moment and reflect. Which of these triggers do you feel strongest in? And which one exposes where you still seek approval? That awareness alone shifts your frame. Now we're approaching the most important realization of all. In part 3, we're going to uncover why attraction doesn't die from time, but from lost direction, what really happens before a woman emotionally leaves, and the final twist that changes how you see long-term attraction forever. This is where everything connects. Now we reach the part most men misunderstand, not because it's complicated, but because it challenges how they see relationships entirely. This is where attraction either stays alive or quietly fades. The real revelation. Attraction doesn't die from time. It dies from lost polarity and direction. Many men believe attraction fades naturally. They say things like, it's normal, the honeymoon phase ends. This is just how relationships go. That belief is comforting and completely wrong. Attraction doesn't disappear because time passes. It disappears because the man slowly trades strength for comfort. He stops leading his own life. He stops pursuing purpose. He stops holding emotional ground. Without realizing it, he begins to orbit the relationship, and polarity collapses. Here's what most men never see happening. A woman doesn't leave the moment attraction fades. She leaves emotionally first. She becomes quieter, less reactive, less invested. Not because she wants to hurt you, but because her nervous system no longer feels pulled. By the time she explains it with words, the decision was already made internally. This is why men are often blindsided. They were listening to words, not watching behavior. The silent pattern before attraction dies. Let's slow this down. When a man loses direction, 3 things shift. He seeks more reassurance. He reacts more emotionally. He abandons polarity to maintain harmony. He becomes safe, but not stimulating. Supportive, but not grounding. Available, but not leading. And women don't fall out of love because a man is kind. They fall out of attraction because his presence loses weight. Attraction requires tension. Not conflict, not drama, but contrast. Strength paired with calm. Warmth paired with boundaries. Desire paired with independence. Remove the contrast and desire fades. Here's the twist. Women don't want perfection. They don't want constant intensity. They don't want a man performing masculinity. They want a man who is self-directed, a man whose life is moving somewhere, with or without them. When you lose that, attraction doesn't just fade, it has nothing to attach to. This is why trying harder never fixes attraction. Effort without direction feels needy. Attention without polarity feels heavy. The solution is not more affection, it's more alignment. Alignment between who you are and how you show up. Let's summarize what actually creates attraction. Women don't choose with their eyes. Emotional states reshape physical perception. Flaws become signatures after emotional activation. Preferences describe fantasies. Behavior reveals truth. Attraction is sustained by presence, direction, and polarity, which leads to the most important insight of all. She is not looking for the perfect man. She is looking for the man who feels irreplaceable. Not because he tries harder, but because his presence cannot be replicated. If you take nothing else from this, take this. Stop trying to be chosen. Start building a life that does not need permission. Develop discipline. Protect your time. Strengthen your emotional regulation. Move toward purpose, even when no one is watching. When you do that, attraction stops being something you chase, it becomes something you generate. Because women don't respond to effort, they respond to emotional gravity. Now I want to hear from you. What belief about yourself are you letting go of after hearing this? Comment it below. If this video shattered an old illusion for you, hit like. And subscribe if you want to understand the things women never say, but always respond to. Share this with a man who still believes attraction is about fixing his appearance. Because the moment a man understands this, he stops chasing attraction, and attraction starts responding.